Hey everybody. So I want to continue talking about my journey and about my mother, who I miss so much. She's my heartbeat. And so, again, I'm the baby of eight. And I think all of us grieve in our different capacity. We grieve differently. And one thing I can tell you is I don't live with any regret. I don't know of anything that I didn't do and would desire to do it if she was alive. I did everything I thought possible as a child, as her son. Um, I have no regrets. I live with no regrets. I remember her going to the hospital, and I drove from home and lived in Atlanta. Drove from Atlanta. A couple of times I flew. When she was in the hospital, I was in the hospital with her. And I think I shared this piece. I'm sitting outside with all these mosquitoes, y'all. But I shared a piece about, I think I shared it in another video where she woke up and she looked over and saw me. She said, "You still here?" And I said to her, "Where am I going? I'm not going anywhere." And she started saying how much she appreciated me being there and the love that I showed her. And I assured her that I wasn't doing anything. This is not. This is not going above and beyond. This is my reasonable service. This is what your children should do. And for me, I took it personal. Like this is the person that was there for me before I was born. She nurtured me and while she carried me. And so our responsibility to our parents are to really take care of them to the very end because they took care of us from the beginning and they continue to take care of us. One thing I learned about a mother, because I don't know what it's like to be one, a good mother is gonna always be overly concerned about their children. I don't care who you are. They're gonna worry, 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 be concerned. And listen, those of you that have your parents now, I know to you that you feel like they're getting on your nerves. But listen, enjoy that because one day you won't have them to get on your nerves and you think they're overbearing and asking how you doing and they want to now you do have some parents that are just nosy and I'm talking about a good parent, whatever that is to you. I can say that our mother raised eight of us alone by herself, and so that's all I know, right? And so I want to continue this journey because we're at 9 years and a few months. January of this year made 9 years that she's been gone. But I have to say that it feels like today, not even yesterday. It really, really feels like today. The memories, her voice, conversations and things that I can hear her say now when I'm in a crunch or my back is against the wall or I need some type of encouragement. I can hear my mother's voice. And y'all don't have to believe in that. That's your prerogative. But I hear my mother's voice encouraging me. Whether that's God's voice talking to me in the voice of my mother so that I can recognize it, or whatever you call it. I do believe that there is existence beyond this terra firma, this what we see physically. And so, because I do believe the real world is on that other side. And what we're experiencing here in this physical realm is a manifestation of what is happening over there. So I want to continue this journey because I think, not I think, I know a lot of family members, a lot of families are going through this and have gone through this, and I want to help you through this process. And there will be those who will say, I don't, why would you talk about this? What goes on in the family should stay in the family. Well, that has been uh, our issue for many years. That has been the detriment of relationships because we refuse to have healthy communications about what we've experienced amongst our loved ones, whether it be parents or siblings or cousins or uncles or aunts, you name it. I think we do ourselves a disservice when we cannot express how we feel and express our experiences because you're trying to protect a group of people that you say you shouldn't talk about because they're family. And this is, I'm making these random videos because this is on my heart. Um, and I think it's important. You do yourself a disservice, and when you can express, I believe your expression, communication, and expressing how you feel is the highest form of nutrition. It's healthy for you to be able to talk about things that hurt you. It's healthy for you to talk about things that make you happy. It's helpful. It's healthy to talk about things that make you feel uncomfortable. And a lot of times people run from, hide from, dodge, avoid um, uh, conversations because they don't know how to communicate. They are living in fear. Everything is just rooted in fear. Let's not talk about this because we were taught what goes on in this house stays in this house. And I think that has damaged, matter of fact, I know that has damaged a lot of families. And there are people that experienced that when they were younger. Um, and now in their adult life, I'm fighting mosquitoes. In their adult life, they are still struggling with expression. They're struggling with talking about things that make them feel uncomfortable. They would rather avoid people that that want to have conversations about certain situations. You have to have hard conversations. We have to have healthy conversation. Now, what I do know is you cannot have a conversation with a liar. You can't have a table discussion with a liar because they are going to lie. And so a liar just would not tell the truth. They're going to make up stuff, make up stuff, make up stuff. So sometimes it's just not even, you share with them how you feel, but you can't have a healthy conversation with a liar. And that's my belief system. If you've been able to do it, then you let me know in the comments. So, in this journey, on this journey of life, um, I never thought I would have experienced what I've experienced amongst my siblings. Now, let me say this: not all, right? Not all siblings. I have one brother. I call him number 7 because he was the 7th child, and then I came along number 8. I call him number 7, and I'm number 8. So sometimes I might say things like number 7 and number 8, we're traveling. That is not only my brother, um, he's my best friend. We've always been close. If you know Earl, you know that we have, even from childhood, um, we have a different type of connection. We can talk to each other about things, and I'm so appreciative. You should have at least one person in your family, amongst your siblings, that you can have healthy communication with. Not someone who can only communicate with you when they can control you, or they can only be close to you because they bully you. Those are not healthy relationships, and I have seen it even amongst my siblings. I know my eldest brother, he controls another brother. He bullies him, has bullied him since he was a child. And how I know that? Because that brother has expressed to me how our oldest brother has always bullied him. And to this day, high double digits, still being bullied by that same brother. Enough of that. I can go on and on about that because I personally don't understand how, as an adult, you can't stand up for yourself and you can't speak up for yourself. If someone has something on you, take power away from them by disclosing it yourself. If you are afraid of a person because they know some dark secrets about you, go ahead and disclose it yourself. That snatches the power away from the person that's trying to embarrass you, and they control you as long as they know they have something over your head. So, with that being said, I want to talk about our mother and my experience, and these are my real life experiences. I would have never thought, no one could have ever told me that my siblings, we're not talking about number seven, that some of my siblings would be doing what they're doing now, 9 years after our mother has passed. No one, if you'd have told me 30 years ago, I would have called you a liar. Now, years ago, many years ago, in this religious system, I was in church and someone said, "You're the Joseph of your family." And I could not see that. Me? Listen, I'm the baby. They love me. They protect me. At least they should. I'm the baby. I am that child that you're supposed to protect. We're supposed to protect each other, but certainly not fight the baby. You know, I would have said you were lying, and many years later, I'm experiencing it, all because of a narcissist sibling who wants to be in control and wants everybody to run to him for answers and look up to him. Uh, the thing about being looked up to, it automatically comes, people look up to you for reasons, right? Not because of age, numerology. It's because they respect you and not respect you out of fear, because that's something different. Uh, and I often said that they could look up to you. It's hard to look up to someone when they've been living so low. And I mean like dirty low, like conniving, manipulating low. I'm not talking about uh, like a bomb or anything of that nature. You want somebody to look up to you, stop living so low. Live high. And I'm not talking about being arrogant or pious or anything like that. Be a person of integrity. And that's all I know. Like, I've never done anything to intentionally hurt anyone. And so in my family, I was like the little big brother, right? Yeah, the little brother, but I was into natural things. I would help my family. I was um, deeply rooted in the church, that church system. I'm not anymore. The religious system, because when a system doesn't protect you, you have to remove yourself from it. If the system that you have supported and been a part of in a good way, and then when you need the system and the system turns its back on you, then you have to remove yourself from the system, right? So um, all of a sudden, it's been this. Um, I won't say all of a sudden. I came into the knowledge of it eventually, that there was a lot of hatred. And this oldest brother, we'll call the brother that he's controlling now, um, and how I know is because at some point this brother would tell me what was going on, and I think it was because they weren't talking anymore. And he says to me, he said, "Yeah, I got tired of him calling me, talking about my baby brother." And now, again, they're back together again, so it's happening again. And I'm not saying this to anybody to feel pity. I am sharing this because I know there's going to be people that's going to watch this video and you are experiencing the same thing. And you need to know what to do in these situations. And I can tell you what I did and what I'm doing. And so, son, this is when I learned that there are people who will dislike you and hate you because of how other people love you or speak well of you. And that stirs up jealousy, or it uncovers the jealousy and the insecurity in the person that has a problem with you. They have a problem with how you are loved, how people applaud you, how people appreciate you. They have a problem when people speak well of you. And that's my oldest brother. And uh, what I will say is there are people that would dislike you for an attribute that you have that they don't have. It's not in them. It has to be a part of your core to be kind. It has to be a, if you're a person that when you walk into a building, people are, they're all over you because they love you, right? It's your energy. People love to have you in their presence. And there is somebody on the sideline hate the fact that other people love you. And that is when I began to see this big dark force unveil, unfold, uncover siblings. And so that's what we're dealing with now. Let me share with you about a time that our mother was in the hospital. Now, let me just share. My mother had bone cancer, multiple myeloma. And wow, that was difficult because this was a woman that we saw so much strength, right? Um, she took care of all of us. And now the bone cancer has spread it aggressively to the point that her thigh bone broke. The doctor says that's the longest and strongest bone in the body, and when that breaks, that's a clear sign that cancer is wreaking havoc. She had lesions all over her skull. They showed me the oof. They showed me the scan. She had legions all over her chest. My mother was just at the end of it. But she was still active, like coherent, still talking. Um, I can't even imagine. And then seeing her in a wheelchair, because at this point, I mean, my mother was 79 years old. She was about to turn 80. But at 79, that's when her thigh bone broke and she fell. And they thought she busted up her knee. Um, Oof, this is difficult. I'm going to try to get through this, to watch her go through so much pain. Um, she wasn't in pain. I think she had a high, I think my mother has always had a high tolerance for pain, but she didn't fold in front of us. And so the doctor told me, said they had to do another scan because she was just sitting there. And the doctor said to her, "You're not in any pain?" She said, "No, just my knee hurts a little bit." That thigh bone had broken in half, and they had to scan it again. It was like, this is impossible for this lady to be sitting here with a broken thigh bone and just talking, you know. The pain came after the surgery when they put a rod in her to join that bone back together. That's when the real pain came. Well, one instance, and I'm going to make this short because I don't think I can get through this because of the emotions that are happening right now. I'm going to do the best I can. That's all I can say. There was an instance that my mother was in rehab, and I had been there for a while. And I didn't realize I had been there as long as I had been there. And I had to leave. Came back home because I had some real estate stuff to do. Um, and then because my mother would wake up and she would be always asking about my oldest brother. She was like, "Where's Leroy? Where's Roy?" She just could not understand why she had never seen him during her hospital time. I can't even imagine how a mother felt, how she felt that all of her children didn't rally around her. I mean, there are those who had excuses. They didn't have a ride, but they get a ride everywhere else they want to go to. And so there's no time for excuses. When somebody's sick, they're sick. You need to go and see them, especially your parent or somebody that you love. I remember leaving And, oof, Lord help me today. I remember leaving, driving back to Atlanta, and I got a phone call from my sister who shared something with me that was just really disappointing. I wasn't there, but this is what was said to me, the conversation that was had. So after I left, and I think really my oldest brother was there just waiting for me to leave. I don't know. Listen, I don't care what kind of beef I'm having with any sibling. You're not going to keep me away from my mother. I am not. I am not going to see about the woman that birthed me. Booties. So, anyways, after I left, he and his family came. I call it taking a photo op picture because that's what they did. And because later down the line they were posting, yeah, we did come and see her, da 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 da. Poof. Um, just give me a moment. So what I heard the conversation was, my mother said to her youngest sister, my auntie, and she mentioned to her that seemingly I was the only one who cared about her. Like, I knew what she meant. It was only two of her children that lived away from that city. My brother, oldest brother, who lives in Homestead. Me, I live. I was in Atlanta, and somehow or another, every episode, I was there, and she could not understand why the other child was not there, because she always asked. And I remember my brother Leonard saying to me how he would give this information to the oldest brother, thinking he was like I was in thinking that he would come. He said I would tell him because I was hoping that he would come and see her. No. So the conversation went on to be, and I understood why she said that, because there were others of her children that really cared. It's just the expression. She knew I came from a long ways to come and see her. If she was in the hospital for 2 weeks, I was there for 2 weeks. That's just period. And you can't, and I don't know why any sibling would dislike me for being there just because I'm there. Everyone had the same opportunity to be there. As a matter of fact, they lived there and had the same opportunity to be there, but chose to call her up on the phone versus going out to see her. That's a whole nother story. And so when I heard this information, when my sister called me, she said, "Well, yeah, our aunt called her and said, yeah, Roy had called her and said, yeah, since Mama loved him so much, when she dies, I'm not going to her funeral." What? What? And just, it baffles me that this is what he told her sister. And my question is, what did you say to him? Like, how do you let somebody come to you? Oof. Anyways, that speaks volumes to me, because I would have straightened that out right there. And so my sister calls me and said, "Yeah, he called me. He said he told our aunt this is that since Mama loved you so much, when she died, um, he's not coming to her funeral." And I told my siblings, I said, "Well, it doesn't matter. He didn't come when she was alive. Like he didn't. I mean, he showed up here and there, but it's not like he, whatever." And so I found out later it was, after all of this time, he became angry because he wanted to know what was going on with her. Now, this has been months and you still don't know what's going on with your mother? So he asked the nurse, I need to know, I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest, and not the oldest, because our sister's the oldest. Like, how do you disregard her? I'm the oldest, and I'm here. I need to know what's going on with my mama. This has been months going in, and after months, you don't know what's going on with her. So they looked at the paperwork, and they said, well, you're going to have to talk to the power of attorney. Guess who was the power of attorney? You think he was going to talk to me? And they said he fussed with those people. You mean to tell me you can't tell me da 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 da? She said, sir, I'm sorry. You're going to have to go through the power of attorney. We can't release this information. But I'm her child. First of all, he should have known months ago. And then, I'm going to talk about this some other time, but there were some other things that took place. So when my sister told me that, it was just like unbelievable. Like, you got that much hatred in your heart and that much jealousy in your heart because of what? What? Because I corrected you on something years ago and that you haven't gotten over yet? You haven't gotten over that? People don't like to be corrected. And there were so many of our other siblings, except with the exception of me and number 7. We did not hold back. We actually told you how we felt. The other ones, they just could not find the spine. I mean, like spineless to correct you. So, anyways, moving right along, and I'm gonna stop here because I want to stop at 30 minutes. I'm at 26:57 now. And we move forward. They took this photo op. They gathered around her in this bed and took this photo op so it can look like they were there. So, anyways, the time came. Months later, our mother passed. January the 28th, 2017. Yeah. Horrible time for me. I remember, I can't get into the details yet because of my emotions, and it's been 9 years ago. She passes. And that same brother that said what he said, he meant it because he did not show up at our mother's funeral. That was his loss. He did not show up. There were people asking, where's? Didn't show up. There's some other reason he didn't show up either, but he was very clear about months before she died, since Mama loved him so much. When she died, I'm not going to her funeral. What is it for a child to say? Because you're so narcissistic. Your ego won't let you rest because you weren't placed in charge of anything. Because you were the oldest son, people feel like they're supposed to be in charge since they are the oldest son. They go on this trip, but every parent knows who to choose. And I'm gonna leave this right here. Put in the comments, what do you think about that? But I will say this. Every other funeral, people died, he showed up. Yeah, but you cannot make up for that one funeral that you didn't show up for because of your ego, your hate, your heart, the darkness of your heart. And that's on them. That's their regret. They'll never get that opportunity again, never get that chance again. There's no one would have been able to keep me from my mother's funeral. Excuse me. But anyways, I'll talk some more about it. I'll make another video. Please keep your peace of mind. Do whatever is necessary. Cut these people off. They're toxic. They're narcissists. Cut off people that don't bring you peace. Dismantle it. Severance it. Walk away from it. You don't have to put up with it because you share the same parent. All right? Y'all have an amazing day.